by the time that I'm posting this video, I think it'll already be sometime in June. I don't know how soon, but I hope by that time it's already cold here in Manila. Lord, please. For this reading vlog, I'll be wrapping up my last two final books on my Asian Readathon TBR. And technically it's still May, the moment that I'm recording this, and I'm already nearly done with The God of Small Things. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this up before the month of May ends. But technically I'll be reading 100 Flowers by June, so I think I'm already at the halfway mark, more than a halfway mark in this book. I'm already above 200 pages, so I think I have just a little more than 100 pages left. I'm this far along, so I'll probably read this, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow, before the month of May ends. And you know what, interestingly, I haven't been looking at the chapter titles because I don't want to be accidentally encountering spoilers. But the chapter that I'm reading, that I'm about to start right now, is chapter 11, which is titled The God of Small Things, which is the very title of the book. So I think this is a very critical chapter in the story. To be perfectly honest, beginning this book has been quite a challenge because Arundhati Roy spends a lot of time giving you details about the lives and the backstories of a lot of characters. I guess one way to look at it is like, this is the historical fiction or literary fiction equivalent of world building. You know how in fantasy the author spends time building the world or the system of whatever magic is there, right? Here, Arundhati Roy really gives us an expansive look at where the characters are coming from. And I like that. It's just quite really difficult to get the hang of at first, to be honest, but it's great. And you know what? The one thing that really got me so shocked upon starting this book, you know how I tend to really not research the intricacies of what the story is about when starting a book. As much as I can, I refrain from doing that. What really got me so surprised was knowing or discovering a few pages in that this is a mystery. There is an event where it's giving you a complexity on what contributed to that thing happening, so that really was something I found really interesting. As a matter of fact, let me read to you something to show you, to give you a taste of how the mystery is presented to the reader. Okay, let me read to you something. In a purely practical sense, it would probably be correct to say that it all began when Sophie Mall came to Ayamenem. Perhaps it's true that things can change in a day, that a few dozen hours can affect the outcome of whole lifetimes, and that when they do, those few dozen hours, like the salvaged remains of a burned house, the charred clock, the singed photograph, the scorched furniture, must be resurrected from the ruins and examined, preserved, accounted for. Little events, ordinary things, smashed and reconstituted, imbued with new meaning, suddenly they become the bleached bones of a story. Still, to say that it all began when Sophie Mall came to Ayamenem is only one way of looking at it. Equally, it could be argued that it actually began thousands of years ago, long before the Marxists came, before the British took Malabar, before the Dutch ascendancy, before Vasco da Gama arrived, before the Zamorans' conquest of Calicut, before 3 purple-robed Syrian bishops, murdered by the Portuguese, were found floating in the sea, with coiled sea serpents riding on their chests and oysters knotted in their tangled beards. It could be argued that it began long before Christianity arrived in a boat and seeped into Kerala like a tea from a tea bag. That it really began in the days when the love laws were made, the laws that laid down who should be loved and how much. Right? I hope I finish this soon. I will talk to you later. it's 5 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I feel very productive. I feel very on schedule because I was able to finish The God of Small Things before May wrapped up. So, Arundhati Roy's writing is so mesmerizing. You almost forget how grim, how gruesome, how dark the topics and the events are in the plot because her writing is just so enchanting, so beautiful. I'm gonna be honest though, throughout the time that I was reading this, since a significant portion of the plot discusses the what's called the untouchables, I can't help but recall my reading experience with The Year of the Runaways by Sunjiv Sahota last year. That's one of the books that I picked for my Asian Readathon TBR. I didn't read it exactly May of last year, but I read that during the summer for my Asian Readathon TBR. And it's hard. It's hard to avoid or refrain from comparing this to that because there's so much insight about the caste system in India. I am really impressed with this book, but I'm not gonna lie, the reading experience is so much smoother or easier with The Year of the Runaways. With this one, it focused on the untouchables, or like the outcasts in the society. The Year of the Runaways gave me more insight about several caste hierarchy. So I will say The Year of the Runaways is more matter of fact, more straightforward, very here you go, very linear in terms of timeline and the plot structure. So even if it drifts in and out, the past and the present as well, it wasn't confusing for me. Meanwhile, in The God of Small Things, it tends to fly between past and present, so sometimes it gets hard for me to focus. Also, the writing is very flowery and at the same time very scholarly. There's a lot of commentary about society and a lot of details given to the lives of the characters. I think I already said that on my earlier comments, but it continued to be so towards the end. And well, that really helped enriching your understanding of the setting and the structure of the society. Sometimes it takes away your focus, so it becomes a struggle sometimes, to be completely honest. Also, you know what? You know what this got me thinking of? A K-drama. A K-drama of all things, because I recall this K-drama who very brilliantly told a story of an event in the community and how every episode you see layers of the characters and how the actions or the events, the relationship dynamics kind of propels the situation, and eventually it told you what contributed to that situation. I'm giving The God of Small Things 4 stars, and I can definitely picture myself, I can see myself every now and then returning to the dazzling quotes, the very brilliant sentences in here. And it's times like these that I really, really appreciate the conveniency of tabbing books. By the way, every book that I have read in 2023, I've tabbed. And you know what? It's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. I'll never get tired of appreciating how helpful it is to tab books, because whenever you want to go back, whenever you want to relive your experience all over again, you just flip through the pages. And we've come to the final book in the Asian Readathon TBR, 100 Flowers by Gyo Tsukiyama. Let's go. thinking, am I feeling better? That's why I can enjoy a book more? Or is it because I enjoyed the book? That's why I'm feeling better these days? To me, it feels like 100 Flowers is giving me everything that I'm craving or wanting to read these days. Don't get me wrong, this is not fluffy, this is not cheerful. This deals with some pretty hard, serious topics. It talks about politics, it talks about the struggles of the family dynamics and all that. But wow, it executes it in such a way that doesn't take a toll on your mind. It doesn't burden you to overthink, you get what I mean? And I don't know, but I just really love the presentation of the point of views. It doesn't shift from one person to another, but rather it changes the focus of the narrative. So it still remains to be a third person perspective, but it changes depending on the characters. So that's the first time I've ever seen that. Maybe I'm just really happy because my dad is coming home. We're gonna pick him up, so I'll probably finish this as we pick him up or before we pick him up. I finally finished 100 Flowers, and let me preface this with a disclaimer, okay? Because I'm going to go off tangent before I talk about my thoughts about this book. I'm going to go off tangent. I think that out of the 4 books in my Asian Readathon TBR, 100 Flowers is the easiest to read. Gail Tsukiyama's writing is beautiful and thought-provoking without requiring your brain to do mental gymnastics. You get what I mean? Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because I think out of the 4, objectively, this would have been the one that I have finish in the quickest time possible. Because, and this is where I'm gonna go off tangent, okay? I've been distracted again and spent quite some time binge watching a drama in the process of reading this book. That's why I haven't finished it as quickly as I want to be. Listen to me, okay? Listen to me. It's been ages. It's been forever since I've been this hooked, this enamored over a rom-com. This one is so well written and so well acted. The Day of Becoming You, which, by the way, is a Chinese drama, which is perfect because this book is set in China. Anyway, The Day of Becoming You. This deserves so much hype. It's so criminally underrated, and I don't understand why not a lot of people are talking about it. It's so good. I highly recommend, definitely download the iQIYI app and watch it. I promise it's so funny. This is definitely the perfect show to watch. If you would like something to make you happy, this is it. The Day of Becoming You. That show is so therapeutic. Anyway, back to 100 Flowers. This is a very close 5 stars read. You know, I like everything about it, and I love how the central message of the plot is how political activism can impact families. Have you guessed that from the cover or from the title? Right? That is the main, if not the biggest reason why I'm so compelled and impressed with the plot, because the conflict is so thought-provoking. What if your goals for the betterment of your country can put your family at risk? What do you prioritize? The future of your country or your present with your family? It's so good. It's so good. I'm giving it 4.75 stars, however, because that ending... that ending is okay. Listen, I don't have anything against open-ended endings, okay? Let me just say that. In fact, I love open-ended endings. Not my favorite, but some open-ended endings can be really brilliant. However, the way it's done here, it's alright. But it felt to me like... How do I explain that? It feels to me like the first book in... You know how fantasy series can be a duology, a trilogy, a series, right? It felt like the first book in a series, and this is a standalone, so... You get what I mean? Yeah, so, yeah, this is a very close 5 stars. I just really wish the ending is more satisfying. That's the only thing I can say, but definitely, still highly recommend 100 Flowers. And I'm looking forward to read more of Gil Tsukiyama. And that's a wrap. I successfully wrapped up my Asian readathon TBR. Not in time, but I still finished all 4 of them. I had a great time, and yeah, great books. I'm so glad because the weather is getting colder this day, so things are looking up. Things are looking up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're also having a fantastic time with your books. See you on my next reading vlog.